Hello everybody, what's going on? So that new ULTRAKILL update with the hotfixes and all that, that's pretty interesting. I like fraud, it's pretty interesting layer, very trippy, very messy. But after fraud, they also released a couple of hotfixes that are very interesting to think about and talk about. But there's one thing I haven't seen anyone mention, at least as of yet, which could be potentially interesting. Now, what I mean is that now they change it so that when you use the shotguns, you can also use the secondary fire as you charge the secondary one. You can use the primary as you charge the second one, as you can see. So even if I charge the core eject, the charge stays there even though I'm firing the gun, which wasn't really a thing. You can't really do it with this thing, I think. Yeah, you can't. I mean, you kind of can. But the main thing is that you can now do core eject and fire at the same time. So now if you have the quick swap bind, not only can you do that frame 1, but you can also shotgun swap and core eject. You know, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. I think. I think you have to do a secondary fire first and then left. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe that's at the same time. Yeah, I think at the same time. But that's not what I'm talking about here. So let's go ahead with the meat of this video. Let's spawn in a Cerberus and show you a little thing or two. So he has 22 health. And, you know, to deal with them, you might want to use shotgun boosting, projectile boosting like this, which does about that amount of health on the Cerberus. And, you know, shotgun boosting is always effective. You can just spam it and do whatever. You can do a little bit of a knuckle blaster, some rockets. Sure, that's fine and all. But now I've tested out something yesterday, and I found out that it can work. So now that we can do this at the same time, we can shoot and fire the core eject, we can also apply the same thing, the same principle, to projectile boosting. So we can actually fire a rocket and projectile boost at the same time. Now the main issue is that the core will have an arc while the projectile boost won't. So if I do this, the core goes there but the projectile boost goes over there. So to use this effectively, you need to be either close or aim your stuff properly. Now you can waste your time charging it up and doing this, and that does that much damage. If you remember from earlier, a projectile boost does about this, but core and projectile boost does this. And we also have to account for the pellets. The pellets also land now. The pellets do not get launched away from the projectile boost anymore. And the same applies to normal core ejects. So if I were to do this, the core eject explosion would not make the pellets go away. Let's try again with max charge. Did I mess up? Hold on. Yeah, see, that was 2 explosions and all the pellets landed over there. So, a good way to do this, I think, it would be to go close range and just do not charge the core, and both projectiles will land. Now, this can be useful in one specific scenario that I found out. If you go ahead and spawn in a schism, we can see that they have 5 health, alright? Now, a single projectile boost will kill them, but not instantly. They just have to slowly burn to death. Very slowly. Hell, they even survive. But if we do projectile boost and core, I found out that they will die in, technically, one shot. Let's see. Now, I don't think I landed the cores properly, because I'll get to it right in a minute, but there is another issue with this new tech that I found. But technically, they will die in one shot. Let me show you. There you go. See? One shot. Now, the main issue, as you saw there, is that the schism sometimes burns to death instead of dying to one shot. Why is that? That's because lighter enemies will get thrown away from the second core, or second explosion, and they would not be able to get hit by both explosions. For example, sentries. See? The sentry went all the way over here and it was not hit by the second explosion. So the explosions do not happen at the same time, which could be a problem for the tech. See, this is what happened to me in testing a lot. They just went all the way up, and the second explosion would not hit them at all. But I think technically they could get one shot as well. They have 12 health, and we've seen that the Schism gets overkilled by 2 explosions. So technically the same would happen to the Sentry. But I think what's happening is that the Sentry gets one away from the first explosion, and the second explosion, if it hits, is too far away to be in the center. But I think this could have potential. Plus, it's just 3 damage on top. See, that's the main issue. The Sentry was launched all the way up there, and the second explosion, which I think is the core, was way too slow to actually reach the Sentry in time. Now, I don't know if this gets fixed if you charge it, but I don't think so. See? Second explosion is always a little bit too behind in time to reach the Sentry. But I still think it's very interesting to think about, you know, the little nuances of this. Now, if we were to freeze this guy, would it work? I never tested this before. Let's see. No, he still get launched. Okay, buddy. Come back here. So yeah, that's about what I wanted to show in this video. I've tried to test with other enemies, but things like Mannequin, Sentry, Schism, they all get launched. And the other ones either have too little health, like, you know, these guys, or too much health. And these guys also dodge automatically. So yeah, there's like no middle ground for this to be actually useful, except for this guy. Now, you might be wondering, what the fuck are you talking about? These guys are immune to explosions. The explosions literally do not work on them. That's the whole gimmick. And you would be correct. They do not work on him. However, if we hold him up first, then this tech could potentially be very useful. Let me show you. He won't die instantly, but he will burn to death. Because that's enough damage with the oil on him. So I think that's interesting to think about. I have not checked their health, but I think they can die in one hit, assuming they don't jump out of the explosions. I think he jumped out of the explosion. So yeah, it's definitely a weird tech. It's not extremely useful, but I think it's still something to keep in mind for sure. Oh, that guy jumped into it! But he has too much health. How much health do you have, actually? 16. That's a little too much. Yeah, that's about everything I want to show, I think. The other guys have way too much health. So the potential is with Maurice's, Schisms, probably Sentries if you can actually manage to land a second shot on them, Cerberus, and Virtues. And what I mean by them is that, you know, instead of doing this little health, you can do that much health. And then just finish them off normally. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind, I think. I did it! Extra bonus fact in case you didn't know, but if you launch a rocket into a rocket, it creates the same nuke that you will get from a core and a malicious ray cannon. I didn't know that. Now you both know. Yeah, don't mind this. Ignore them. Just ignore that. That's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video that I will decide to make. See ya.